Holistic connection. Let's heal. Holistic connection. Let's learn. Holistic connection. Let's grow. Holistic connection. Let's be real.
Hello, everyone. This is PamelaTopjian, your host for Holistic Connections, Conversations with Holistic Practitioners. And I want to welcome my guest today. Is it Tashiana?
You got it.
Okay, Tashiana, the sun goddess. So that's awesome. I love that. So
Thank you.
so I want to welcome you and ask you to please introduce yourself and share what you do in the holistic healing space.
Okay, thank you so much for having me, Pamela.
Thank you for
My
coming.
name is Tashiana, Tashiana Reeves, but a lot of people know me by my online misnomer, Tashiana the Sun Goddess. I am a Kemetic priestess overall. However, I am a natural born psychic medium and I am also a clinical herbalist. My background, believe it or not, is in biology. So I'm a scientist turned holistic practitioner. I always have such a hard time talking about myself. You would think I wouldn't, but it's almost unnatural for me, you know? So as probably, especially in this line of work, I never really focus on myself that much.
So there's different things that you do, aura readings, there's different types of card readings, different other
Correct.
types of readings. So is there any of that you had to learn along the way, or was this all something you had your whole life?
Okay, that's an excellent question. So having like natural, I'm gonna just say natural intuitive gifts, if you will, for the sake of simplicity. It definitely helps me because I have, for lack of better words, almost like a medical medium gift. I'm able
Yeah.
to, like you said, I offer aura readings, so I can kind of sense in auras and physically see disparities or if there's imbalances or if things are going to manifest. So that is probably what led me into the trajectory of wanting to practice clinical herbalism because I have a unique approach. It's like a fusion approach. I'm literally using my intuition and what I can see that others cannot perceive,
Yeah.
along with actual scientifically supported knowledge. So I'm big on you have to treat the whole, not just that's the
Right.
whole point of holistic practice.
Right.
Like we are treating the whole and not just its part. The whole, not just their sums, if that makes sense.
Absolutely.
And I feel like for anything that I do, if someone comes to me with some sort of ailment, for example, say any headaches, they're suffering from headaches. Sometimes I can see that, yes, although this is manifesting physically as a headache, there could be an energetic driver for it. Now, this is no offense to like professional MDs or anything of that sense, some of them are not necessarily in tune enough to know that.
Right.
So they want to just solve that immediate problem, the ailment. And
Yeah.
I really focus more on let's treat the whole so that way the ailment never even reoccurs. We're not just treating the problem, we're actually going to
Right.
treat the root of it. And
Yes.
sometimes it's energetic, truthfully, but it just manifests in a physical way. So I am really grateful for the gifts I have because I will say I feel like it definitely lessened my learning curve. Energetically, a lot of this was natural for me, but in terms of like my clinical applications, I very much like I have a bachelor's degree in biology and then went on to take a clinical herbalism course as well. So I ensured that I actually had the scientific support for what I was trying to do energetically. I almost feel like I did that because of the misconceptions that come from the energetic work I do.
Yes.
So it was like, hey, I have to have a scientific hand holder, something that others that may not believe or perceive what I'm saying, they can at least respect the scientific evidence or support for it. And I try to make sure it's an even fusion of the two. So it's pretty cool. But yes, I did have to learn some things along the way, but a lot of it, I honest to God do go a lot on my intuitive faculties. And throughout my career, I've been doing this now professionally for like almost 15 years.
Oh my goodness.
I've helped a lot of people. It's proven to be very successful. So, and I don't mean in a monetary fashion, just overall and my contribution to society. I feel like it's been successful. If that makes sense.
And you do have some testimonials on your website. So if anybody wants to
very
check
few.
that out.
Yes. I also have, there's tons more on my social medias, like the
Okay.
highlight reels. That's where a lot of people can see. You can even just kind of shout out anywhere on one of those social channels, and someone will definitely know it's me. They'll
Nice.
respond to you. Yeah.
Nice. So you talked about misconceptions. So out of all the work that you do, all the different offerings that you have, what do people have the most misconceptions or misunderstandings about?
Oh man, that is an excellent question. I have two answers for this.
Okay.
Oh, I have two answers for this, but I will make them brief. As I stated to you previously, Pamela, I do co-own an organic living soil cultivation company.
Mm-hmm.
So we take a very medicinal and sustainable approach, obviously, because we want it to be accessible to everyone, like an
Yeah.
equitable approach. Okay. And our main goal is to make sure everyone can grow their own medicine, essentially, and have control over that. It's very freeing. It gives you a lot of sovereignty. So that's
Yeah.
our main focus. Now, I feel like we face the most misconceptions in that field just because of the stigma of the plant, if that makes
Okay.
sense.
Yeah.
So that is something that I battle consistently because we're trying to take a holistic approach with a
Yeah.
plant that has been stigmatized and
For many
demonized for
generations.
many generations,
Yeah.
when in fact it has some of the most incredible medicinal properties we've ever
Yeah.
seen in a plant. So that is something that is one of the largest misconceptions we deal with, that it's just a terrible plant. We shouldn't be focused on that in a medicinal aspect. So
Yeah.
doing a lot of work to destigmatize that and decolonize the mind, that's one of our largest challenges. Now, I'd say on my more spiritual scale of things, the most misconceptions I have, goodness, believe it or not, I have the most misconception. You would think it would be in terms of my actual like energetic work, like psychic readings, things of that nature.
Mm-hmm.
And no, it's actually, I'd probably say my actual herbalism practice itself,
Really?
because people have a very hard time believing that they can rely on plants from the earth to
Yeah.
support them. And it's kind of sad because they don't understand that a lot of even for pharmaceutical drugs, a lot of them,
Mm-hmm.
their chemical components are derived from natural plant,
Yeah.
elements. So they don't realize this, that obviously this is naturally occurring in nature, and they don't understand that. So
Yeah.
I actually face the most misconceptions when it comes to that, because people do not believe at all that it has the benefits
Yeah.
for the human body that it has. It's actually,
Yeah.
no one has ever asked me this question, believe it or not, ever. Like on any podcast I've ever been on, they've never asked me that. And I've never had to really think about it. But yeah, I would say my herbalism practice,
And that's really interesting. Yeah.
they have so many misconceptions about it.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people look at it, and I've had them say, man, I really just thought this was kind of like a decorative thing. And I was like,
Mm.
they don't see that it actually has an
Yeah.
integral purpose, like plant medicine.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's one of the biggest I face, that people just
Yeah.
don't have any faith in the practice itself. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, just like plant medicine we were talking about, there's been a lot of propaganda
Oh yeah.
once, pharmaceuticals took over, basically,
Yeah.
and, medical doctors really, I don't want to say pushing because, that's what they were taught, but, a lot of money went into demonizing, as you put it, which is true, just natural remedies, just
Yeah.
overall natural remedies, because they want you to buy their medication,
And
which,
it's
again, there's nothing wrong with the medication if you need it and if other things that are less invasive haven't been working for you, or sometimes, they work together, things work together pretty well.
exactly. And I'm
So,
I'm definitely someone where I'm big on balance. So even
mm-hmm.
from a holistic standpoint, when I have clients that they may be on a medication of some sort, but their
Yeah,
goal, like blood pressure, for example, their
yeah,
goal is to wean themselves off. I'm always happy to support people in those kind of journeys,
sure.
because there are people that have brilliant minds and have done a lot of work and research to create certain drugs. So
Yeah.
I do respect those people that have taken the scientists that have done this. I
Mm-hmm.
do, just for their innate genius. But I
Yeah.
do understand that we live in a practical world, so some things are more accessible to people than others.
Right.
Like I'm outside of Baltimore. We have a lot of people that we have food deserts here. So there are people that have no access to any
Yeah.
sort of herbs, fresh things that also all they can do is rely on certain things. So like pharmaceutical drugs for their
Yeah.
issues. So there's a lot of things I feel like we have to battle in this
True.
particular industry, but you know, every little bit counts.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely. And the more we talk about it, the better too. Yeah.
exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. And the more people know where they have access to these things as well.
Exactly.
So yeah. So let's talk about you have some courses and classes and the different types of readings that you do. So you want to talk about some of that stuff a little bit?
Sure. So again, I'm a natural born psychic medium. The I would say the bulk of my work falls into the realm of like prophetic gifts.
Hmm.
I don't want to toot my own horn, but I'm pretty good at predictive messaging, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Um, I try not to get people to rely too much on it because people do have to understand that even with prophetic messages, it's important to know that you still have options and free will in life. So
Yeah.
do with that what you will. But I do offer, I'm pretty well known for my check your energy readings. They're
Hmm.
pretty in-depth readings. They can span from even almost teetering into past life messages, but the individual that I'm reading, usually it's like an unfiltered hour of just psychic channeling. I
Hmm.
do let them ask questions, whatever they would like to ask, but it's just them. And usually my readings are going to be centered around ways to, and I don't mean this in any way to be disrespectful to others, but I try not to focus on mundane issues like just dating issues, things of that
Yeah.
nature. I really try to have more comprehensive readings that are going to almost give you a game plan for how to ascend in life. That's really what
Yeah.
my goal is with my readings.
Yeah.
Um, I offer them once each month, like they are
Oh,
released.
nice.
I have a pretty loyal, I would say client base, so they go pretty quickly. Thankfully, I'm really grateful for that. I
Yeah.
do offer aura readings as well, so
Hmm.
I also teach about it. Because almost anybody can really learn to read auras. That's something
Mm.
that I'm big on teaching people how to use their own intuitive faculties, so that way
Yeah.
eventually I don't even have to do this. That's really my goal. Because everyone does have these innate abilities, they just have to know how to tap into them.
Yeah.
Which would kind of teeter into my courses, like you
Hmm.
mentioned. I have a few courses, one being like my tarot course. I love tarot because anybody can use it, even if they're not like a natural born psychic or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah. I love tarot too.
I
Yeah.
love tarot. It's
Yeah.
incredible, but it really is a great developmental tool for like
Hmm.
intuitive faculties if you
Absolutely.
learn how to apply it like archetypally in your life. So that's something I teach throughout my course. And then a lot of people that have gone through my course have gone on to be pretty successful tarot readers in their
Yeah.
own right. So that's something I'm really proud of. I'm really happy to help people that have integrity use their gifts to, you know, make a living. So that's something I really focus on. The energy of sovereignty is kind of in everything I do. Whatever I do, it's so that way I can enable other people to be able to do it for themselves and understand that they have that ability in themselves. You know,
Yeah.
we're all vessels of God, essentially.
Yeah.
So everyone has the same ability to do everything that one another can do.
Yeah, nice. On your website, and let's
Hmm.
mention your website. It's tashianathesungoddess.com, and we'll have
Yes.
that link below for sure. What's the difference between cardiology and tarot? What's the difference
Okay.
between those two?
Excellent question. I love cardology. Initially, when I began learning how to read with cards, I started with standard cartomancy, so a playing deck of cards.
Oh, okay. Playing
It's
cards.
some people
Yeah.
call it conjure style reading. That's kind of
Okay.
how I come from a Southern Baptist family, so it was called conjure style reading.
Okay.
And every card is assigned its own energy. There's 52 cards in a deck, 52 weeks in a year,
Mm-hmm.
and that compromises the energy of cardology. The difference with tarot and cardology, tarot is I'm going to call it an archetypal system because it
Sure. Yeah.
follows the arcanum. Okay.
Yeah.
Um, Cardology is going to encompass numerology, astrology, and cartomancy. So it's like a trinity fusion of like a few different metaphysical modalities.
Wow. Yeah.
And it makes it wildly accurate.
Mm-hmm.
I when I started learning cardiology, I've been doing it now 11 years.
Okay.
It blew my mind. Like the first year, I was like, there's no way that other human beings don't know about this. It was just so incredibly fascinating to me. And the my mentor at the time, I mean, was brilliant. It is incredible. So you do need to have kind of a base level knowledge of astrology, numerology,
Yeah.
and the actual playing card deck, cardomancy itself,
Mm-hmm.
because every single card carries an energy. Just like in tarot, every card carries an
Yeah.
energy. You can actually mirror a card deck to a tarot deck. That's something
Wow.
I can get into at another point, but it's
I
it's
know
very
there's
easy.
so much. We can
Yes.
do an hour on
It's
cards alone. I know.
I love it. It's
Yeah.
incredible because if people learn the science,
Yeah.
it's unreal like how you're able to actually almost
Yeah.
control your life, like in a
Yeah.
control your destiny. But
Yeah.
cardology follows the actual playing card system. Each card carries an energy. Every single day of the year is ruled by one particular card.
Mm.
For example, today is a six of spades day. Today, this very day, which is very interesting because we each in astrology, for example, you have your natal chart. We have what is called a planetary spread in cardology. This would be my Mercury card, and here I am
Okay.
talking on a podcast on my Mercury card day.
Yeah.
So cardology is so interesting because it follows the energy of every single thing on the planet. And it's kind of through a more scientific lens. So there's a lot of people that are not very, I call them woo woo, or,
Mhm.
they may not even believe in holistic teachings the way you and I do, but they
Yeah.
still use it because they use it like a science.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's how it differs from tarot. Tarot and
Okay.
cardology are very much related because tarot has astrological associations, but
Right.
cardology does it in a more simplified fashion,
Okay.
in a more detailed and accurate fashion, in my opinion. So
Yeah.
for the average individual, that is.
Yeah. Tarot has more of a misconception of it being sort of demonic or something
Yes,
more occult related compared to using
absolutely.
playing cards.
That is absolutely, I could not have said it better. I feel like people immediately hear tarot and they
Hmm.
think occult. When
Hmm.
they see cardology and the way it's typically taught, most people see a card deck and they think a casino, you know?
Right.
So
Right.
they don't
Of
have the
games. Yeah.
same
Poker.
negative connotation that
Yeah.
tarot got, not that I have a negative connotation of tarot or
Right.
you, but others do. They
Yeah.
perceive it that way. They don't look at it as a actual tool. Never
Right.
mind the fact tarot was given to us by Archangel Metatron. So let
Mm.
that could end the demonic conversation, I feel like in itself, but people don't kind of seek to learn those kind of things
Yeah.
either.
I
But
I didn't know that at
oh
all. So
yeah,
that's really interesting.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's I spoke on a panel last summer, and it was the astrology and tarot panel for like a global summit.
Mm.
And it was so cool. It was me and like two other women I'd never met before in life, but it was just so cool how we all were literally on this panel
Yeah.
saying the same thing, but just different ways. But
Yeah.
ultimately, and they're like, "Do you guys see that overall we're all using this tool the same way?" It was fascinating. It was such a cool experience, but I definitely agree with you. That's exactly the misconception. They think
Yeah.
of it in that fashion, and cardology doesn't quite get that rep.
Yeah.
People genuinely do look at it like a scientific tool, which is
Mm-hmm.
it is fascinating to me. I see a lot of my clients that are definitely more analytical lean
Hmm.
toward my cardology readings. The ones
Yeah.
that are more mystical or even more like emotionally driven, they want to do tarot readings or they want a
Yeah.
psychic reading. Um, but I feel like, again, that's kind of God's way of giving something for everybody. Like we know some people are not going to believe the same. So here's tools that'll achieve the
Right.
same thing. But
Right.
hey, different ways, different modalities. So yeah,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
is a huge misconception. I never thought of it that way. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
So
Yeah.
my other question was about aura readings. So,
Okay.
um, so like just say if you go to the grocery store So are you seeing people's auras, or is it something that you have to kind of like just tune into, or something you have to look for, and then just like you're not looking for it, so you're not going to see it on everybody you pass in the street or whatever?
So that is an excellent question. So some people, like myself, I do have the ability to turn it off per
Okay.
se. Because there are some periods of time where I just kind of have to shut down my abilities because it's healthier for your
Yeah.
body. It's a lot of energy to take that in.
Yeah.
But I personally, when I go out in like public settings, I like to be able to perceive these things because it
Yeah.
keeps me safe. I feel like
Yeah.
it kind of helps me to stay away from energies that may seek to do me harm.
Mm-hmm.
But I do know a lot of people that have no control over it and they do see it all the
Yeah.
time. All the time they perceive it. I perceive it all the time because I choose to perceive it
Yeah.
all the time. But it's definitely helped me in some like incredible situations. Like I
I'm
have some
sure.
stories regarding that.
I'm
Um,
sure.
but but also auras are in flux. So you could see someone like I could see you today right now. It's like, for example, your aura right now, you have a bit of white in your aura, which is actually a little rare. You have green and you have I'm going to call it like a turquoise color.
Hmm.
You have a turquoise and a little bit of that. I guess I would call it an indigo. So
Okay.
you have those colors that are blended in your aura. That's me seeing you now.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows, in 3 days I could see you and it could be a totally different vibration because of the energy that's been presented to you. So
Yeah.
auras are like really good diagnostic tools for people
Mm.
that can perceive them because you can kind of quickly see and analyze a lot of things and or energy
Yeah.
affecting a person by seeing it. So yeah, yeah,
Yeah, and I think that that's a misconception too, that people have. Like you said, I can see you in 3 days and it can be different. So
yes,
it depends on what's going on with the person. And as you go through life and different experiences and different emotions and different things come up, that's going to change around you.
exactly.
So, also, what do you think about those? I don't know what they use, but they take a picture and like somebody has their aura reading photograph, and it's like,
Right.
oh, this is my aura, but it could be different the day that they, the
No,
next day.
I actually follow a few aura photographers,
Okay.
and a lot of them are very good at explaining that to
Oh,
people.
good. Good.
That although we're taking this photo now, who in 24 hours, this very well could not be your energy.
Good. That's
But a
good to
lot
know.
of people are able to see and assess what's going on in that moment.
Uh-huh.
I would hope that if someone were or a photographer and they weren't sharing that information, they
Yeah.
quickly correct that at least for someone. Um, but for the most part, all the ones I follow are very ethical. They're all
Good,
very
good.
informative. I'm not opposed to them. I actually think they can be really good tools. And
Sure.
some people just love the aesthetic of it, so that's
Yeah.
very much it too. But
It's just
they
cool to
are very
have. I mean, this is this is
yeah,
me and the energy field around me, yeah,
exactly.
on that
So,
day. Yeah.
and some of the photos are so beautiful that I've seen
Yes.
but I just as long as people understand that, hey, this is a glimpse of your energy in this moment in time,
Right.
then that's all that really matters. That's how
Yeah.
I perceive it. So, that's why I do enjoy doing like if I do aura readings, those are ones that kind of have to be done immediately, like in the moment. Even if they are scheduled online, like my
Mm-hmm.
VA is going to call immediately and try and get you to send an image quickly so I can do
Okay.
one quickly because I want to see where you're at right now. Otherwise, when I
Yeah.
do offer it or do the reading for them, I let them know that at 3:05 p.m. on this day, this is what your aura is stating and this is
Yeah.
what I would suggest. Um so that's usually how I like to do mine. So they're more of a
Interesting.
diagnostic tool for me,
Okay.
really. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So you mentioned online and that. So do you work with people? You must work with people both in person and online. Is there anything that you do that has to be just in person or that is only
Yes.
just online?
Oh, yes. There's a lot of my work that is solely offline.
Okay.
Like for example, I do a lot of energetic cleansing work.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
actually work with I kind of specialize in removing negative energies
Oh,
from
nice.
spaces. So I
Nice.
usually will go through and because I'm a medium, I can go through and kind of assess the space, actually
Yeah.
see what's going on. If I have to communicate, sometimes it's as simple as going in a space and there might be a spirit that just needs crossing over. So
Yeah.
that's something I can do, or I can
Yeah.
actually take the energy with me and do it in a safer space for them. Or some of them want to stay with you for a few days because they need to get things off their chest and then
Mm.
they'll go. So those are things that I have to physically go to
Of
a
course.
space to
Yeah.
do. I work with like a lot of funeral homes doing
Mm.
energetic cleansing and balancing. So that
Yeah.
obviously I have to be on site for. So there's a lot of the bulk of my work that is probably the most enjoyable to me is definitely done in person.
Yeah.
My energetic readings, psychic readings, a lot of my courses, I try to make it, I know we're in a digital world, so I try to make as much of it accessible online as
Yeah.
possible. But there are unfortunately some things I just can't. I do, me personally, my preference, I like going out and meeting people face to face.
Sure. Yeah.
I am like an in-person person. So
Yeah.
even everything I do online, I do in person. Like I do a lot of
Okay.
partnerships with businesses where I live. So
Mm.
I kind of have a residency at a few places. So I go and I offer in-person readings because some people don't feel comfortable doing it online, and that's
Yeah.
fine. I can do it in person.
Yeah.
We have a lot of like herbalism driven events. I offer mocktails, like I actually craft them for a lot of
Nice.
local spaces here. So I have a good fusion of what I do. But the bulk of my work, I am able to help a lot of people online. But the
Yeah.
physical heavy duty, heavy lifting, I have to go in person. I
Yeah.
prefer to go in person, actually. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, where is the best place for people to reach you? We mentioned your website. You want to mention your socials and where else people can find you,
Sure.
and where's the best place for people to reach out to you?
Sure. So the best place to reach me is going to always be my email because I check that consistently. So
Okay.
that's just support at tashianathesungoddess.com. So
Okay.
I don't bite. Feel free to, I get people that email me all the time, even if you just have a general question. I love to chat. It's no
Nice.
problem. I'm happy to help. I am also on all social platforms with the
Okay.
exception of X. And I actually am not really on TikTok. I just am not on those platforms. I'm sorry. But I'm Tashiana the Sun Goddess across all others. Instagram,
That makes it easy.
Substack, and Threads are primarily where I like to do a lot of my online work. So I
Okay.
chat a lot on Threads and Substack.
Okay. Oh, on
Yes.
Substack too. Okay. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
So,
I do. I do a
yeah.
lot of my published work on Substack.
Oh, good.
I'm a bit of a writer. I'm a
Yeah.
channeler, so it's sometimes
Yeah.
easier to write things than always record it. So I love
Absolutely. Yeah.
Substack. Love it.
Yeah, yeah. So we'll have those links below. And so whether you're listening on the podcast platforms or you're watching on YouTube, look at the show notes and the video, the description under the video. So is there anything else that you want to make sure people know or anything else you want to share before we end this today?
The only thing I want to share is I know we're going into an age where there's a lot of new health age information available to people. I ask that everyone just kind of follow your intuitive faculties so that way
Mhm.
you are, like, for example, if you're here listening to Pamela and I, you're in a very good, safe space, I would say.
Yeah.
If you're a subscriber here of Pamela's, you're in a very safe space.
Thank you.
So I feel like this probably would not apply to you, but just be mindful because a lot of people do like to use the term holistic in a aesthetic fashion. So, especially nowadays, make sure that the assistance or guidance you're getting is genuinely treating the whole and not just the part or the
Yeah.
ailment that you are suffering from. That's the only tidbit I have. That's me on my soapbox. That's it.
That's great.
That's
I
it.
love that message. It's so important.
That's
And
it.
yeah, maybe somebody who's,
Yes.
not subscribed, it'll just come across their timeline
Yeah.
and they'll get that information. So you
They
never know.
absolutely. I always tell I don't mind where you get the help from as long as you get the proper help. That's it. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter which one of us is doing it as long as someone is doing it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, thank you so, so much for sharing of yourself and
Oh,
sharing
thank you
about
for
your
having me.
offerings. So interesting. And I would love to have you back on and
I
do
I
a
would
show
love to be
about
back.
cards
I
because
would
there's
love to
so
be
much.
back. I would love to do it. I could absolutely do that. I just did a podcast and I literally did their spread like live. So I'm
Oh,
whenever you're available, Pamela, you let me know and I will be
yeah.
back.
Yeah, thank you so much. So, yeah, so everybody, check out the website, check out all of the socials, and it's the same across everywhere, so that makes it easy. So tashianathesungoddess.com. And again, we'll have those links below. And thank you once again for being my guest.
Thank you, Pamela, for having me. Thank you, everyone, for listening.